Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm doing a first time ever repot with me. I thought it was something a little different. It's a different video idea, you know. And it's springtime, and springtime's a good time. Well, it's not quite spring yet, but we're getting there. I've already repotted several of my plants, but I'm going to do a bulk of them today and try to get it wrapped up as much as possible. Springtime is coming. And as you can tell, the days are getting longer. Time changes in a couple days, and so it's a good time to start thinking about repotting your plants now, so they have the whole growing season to get really good and established in their pots and grow nice and healthy for you. Unless you have grow lights, which I just got these not too long ago. You know, plants aren't going to grow that good. They're kind of going to a dormancy stage with natural sunlight being as much as there is. So it's not recommended to repot at that time unless it's like a rescue mission or something like that. Or if you're like me and just get super excited, like plants, and know these things anyway and just do it anyway sometimes, even though you know better. Hey, but I have been doing better with that. As there's some plants that I have not touched and that actually just need repotted now because they've been in their nursery pots for that long. So anyway, who doesn't want to put the plants in these pretty little pots, right? So in this box, I have a nice typical aroid mix, and I add different ingredients into it depending on what I am repotting. Like last night, I repotted a Hoya bilobata that the soil mix it was in, it just looked like it wanted a typical nice chunky potting soil for a Hoya. I did go ahead and add some Fox Farm Ocean Forest in here too. There is also some peat moss, a little bit of cocoa coir, the Better Grow Orchid bark mix, and some leca balls, and some pretty chunky perlite in here. Today I am watering in all of my plants with some Hormex water. When you put rooting hormone when you water things in, especially when transplanting, it's going to help your plant get established in there. So I think it's a good idea. And I picked up Fox Farm recently. I've been making, you know, going soilless and stuff, but Fox Farm has really good reviews. It's got a lot of decent sized perlite in it already. It's got mycorrhizae in there, bat guano, and worm casting, which I'm buying mainly a lot of that stuff anyway to make my own soil. So it's just basically convenient for me at the time to pick up a bag of Fox Farm plus employee discount. Can't beat it. So we're going to give Fox Farm a try. So to my repotting, I'm starting with this Pothos Scindapsus exotica. Scindapsus are considered a pothos. Also, you'll see Epipremnum, called pothos a lot. Golden pothos is your old-fashioned standard go-to as far as that goes. Ooh, my little drain hole thingy ripped part of the root off. Whoopsie. And so all this old soil I've got on my potting mat here, which I picked up for like dirt cheap on Temu. I didn't care what my potting mat looked like. You know, I'm just repotting with it. Although I have seen some really cute ones. You can find them on Amazon and so forth. I will also say, since this plant's not diseased or anything like that, I'm not going to wash this pot. I'm just going to refresh the soil in it. And I'm going to stick it in the same kind of soil it was in, which looks, you know, relatively the same as what's in this pot right here. This exotica did get a little overwatered last year, and I have taken several cuttings off of it and given it to friends, because isn't it cool? Isn't it cool? So I'm not afraid to put a little bit of a chunkier mix in there. Although this might be a little hair chunky, we'll see. So I'm going to put some at the bottom, about a third of the way down. We'll stick the plant on top and backfill. Well, I'm going to stick the plant in there, see how it looks, and then backfill. It looks like it could use some more soil in there. also kind of thought a nice chilled repot with me video is going to be great for just talking about random things that come to my head, because usually when I film a video, I just, I have a topic in mind that I'm, trying to convey and all that stuff, and so I'm focused on that, whereas I can just chill and just talk about things that come up in my mind better doing this. But I won't film the whole list because as you can see, there's quite a few on here that need a good repotting. I don't even know if I'm going to make it through the list today, but I'm getting a good start on it tonight. And some of these bigger, the thing about the Better Grow is a lot of their cocoa bark chips, somebody wants outside. Let me finish this thought and then I'll let my dog outside. They're pretty big, so I like to break them up a little smaller. I like to have different size cocoa barks in there, kind of replicating nature better, I guess. All right, let me let my dog out. Actually, my other dog wanted in, and then they just wanted to start to play, and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to film a video right now. Go play outside. So they're outside playing. So we've also been buying more outside landscaping plants to look beautiful and for our honeybees. We put our swarm trap up already and put some swarm commander in there. Over there, which is I want to say, we put the, I don't know how to describe it. I guess I'll just have to make another video about that. So it'll be an upcoming video. Hopefully we get one a swarm caught this year. Last year we didn't catch nothing. We didn't have a setup either. We just had good friends that gave us some. Okay, that guy's done. I'm gonna stick her label back in her and get her watered in. Okay, I watered her. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my neem oil spray here and clean off the leaves, and I'm going to spray on the petioles and the stems too. Neem oil is a great natural way to clean your leaves, to shine your leaves, and to help with pests, fungus, and bacteria. Help prevent them, help solve them. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but you know what? It helps, and it makes your plants look better. And I like to, my house is really dusty, and I try to keep my plants clean. I try to clean them off every time or two I water or fertilize. And I have yet to have a spider mite or a mealybug yet, knock on wood, or anything else like that. And it's not daylight out. If you do this and you stick it in direct sun or possibly even under your grow lights, it could burn your leaves. So I would suggest doing this at night. I haven't seen any leaf burn from doing it and sticking under my grow lights, but some of them like Soltech and the name brand ones are quite a bit stronger. So just keep that in mind as well. All right, I'm going to put her back home. Well, I'm going to let her go in the sink. I see her still dripping water. I don't want her to sit in water and get root rot. So I'm going to just stick it in the sink and let it get done. All right, next up on the list is Monstera addisonii. I got this in the mail from one of my plant friends that I still swap plants with. Her daughter, who lives elsewhere, she mailed me cuttings out of the kindness of her heart, and it's taken quite a bit of time figuring out the watering, the lighting, what made it happy, getting it established, and now this early spring, it's starting to put out more leaves, especially when since I've been putting it out on the porch on these nicer days. I can really notice a difference. this one could use some help. Ooh, underneath it's still moist. You know what? I know it's in terracotta and in a kind of chunky mix right now. I'm going to make it, yeah, I'm going to keep it in here. I actually feel like, no, this feels like it could be pretty good. We'll stick with this. This should be okay. But this one I didn't get around to putting a drainage hole cover on, so I'm going to show you a tip. So I got some old broken screen outside, and so I've cut a strip off, and then I just cut a little bit off. There we go. Now you can see it a little bit better. The lighting kind of threw it off. And then I'm going to use that to cover the drainage hole. That way soil doesn't come out when I water. So I'm going to stick some leca balls at the bottom of this. Since the roots aren't that big, it was still pretty moist when I felt at the bottom of it. Oh, there's sphagnum moss on these roots still. We're getting that off there. That was from the propagation. Sure was. That's going to hold on water more than I'd like. Let's see, let me check out these roots. Okay. It's the sphagnum moss that I'm feeling. It's not root rot. No squishy leaves or roots. Whatever part of the plant I'm talking about, read my mind. It's the only bad part about sphagnum moss is it likes to latch on to roots a lot of the times, but you know, roots grow back if you happen to rip them off and stuff, so it's not a big deal. It does have one nice, really long root, though, that looks really healthy. So let me grab a handful of leca. The leca at the bottom of the pot, just a layer of it, is going to help the drainage too. So if you're potting in a pot that's too big like I am, that's a good piece of advice. It's not that too big for a pot, but you know, I'm just trying to help it out, make it as healthy as possible. I'm not going to completely cover the bottom with leca, just because, you know, it needs some sort of something to drink, but yeah. All right. So there's two separate plants here, and this is an aerial root that has grown down into the soil and going and taking root. That's how cuttings work. See all that? And it was just an aerial root that looked like that. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try to let this go in a circle around this pot and just make a nice full pot of Monstera. I don't know. We'll try it and we'll see how it works. And then eventually it's going to grow, and then it'll end up having one trailing stem out the side, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Why not? Why not experiment a bit? trying to keep the stem pulled up as I'm filling the soil in there. I don't know if this one part's going to stick down in there, but that's okay. You know what? If this all pops out and this experiment goes bad, I'm not even going to be upset about it either. It's just worth a shot trying. It's an idea. Stick her tag back in and I'll get her watered in. Now I have Dieffenbachia Amy. I've had her for over a year now and it looks kind of sparse and not that great. But I had a problem figuring out the watering on this one too. And actually I was watching some videos and a lot of people don't even want to grow this plant because they don't understand the watering. Well, I let this dry out most of the way, like not bone dry like cactus dry, but pretty close. I'll do it between there and slightly damp, slightly moist, however you want to call it. You know, I can water then too, and it'll end up being fine. But I had to figure that out. It worked with me though, and it's growing back. And in fact, since I bought these grow lights, and it only gets a peek at the grow light, it's not even in front of a light. It's grown a lot better. The leaves are sizing up. It's putting on a heck of a lot new leaves. And it also helps that spring is coming. And that's also another sign to repot your plants is when you're starting to see new growth. So a lot of things like pothos and things like that. I am glad I am repotting. This looks scary in here. I actually am tempted. It looks like mold or something. What is going on? I think I'm going to do a diluted peroxide dump on these roots before I put them back in the soil. This looks pretty scary. Yep. And I am not going to put it back in this pot. I'm going to get a fresh, clean pot. So I'm going to actually rinse these off in the sink. And then I am going to the roots still look good, but to be on the side of caution, I'm going to dunk it in the peroxide mix. I also feel like it probably it seems to be doing okay with the 4-inch pot, but the roots are way small. However, it is growing good. I'll either go with the 3 or 4-inch pot, whatever I can find clean and quick. Alright, so I'll teach you real quick how to do a dunk if you don't know. It depends on how sick the roots look, what I'll do with them. These roots look fine, but since I'm erring on the side of caution, I just got a little bit of water here, enough to set the roots in while I go look for a pot. And then I got peroxide here, and I'm just going to put a splash in there. Let me show you what I mean by a splash, because that could mean anything, right? Swirl it around a little bit. All right, like I said, a splash. If I was to guess how much I poured in there, it's probably a tablespoon. So I'm going to set those in there and look for a clean pot. Okay, I think what I'm going to do with this plant, since it likes to stay moist more, is I'm not going to use this blend. I'm going to use straight Fox Farm and put it in there. I also have these Orchid type kind of pots. They're 4-inch pots with the extra slits up the side to help with aerations. And then that's what the drainage looks like. So I don't need to make a drainage hole cover or anything like this for this pot. And it'll fit back in the catch pot too. So that'll be nice. So yeah, I can go start putting soil in it, I guess. So I got a tote of Fox Farm behind me, and there's also some at the bottom. I didn't mix it all in. The Fox Farm's sitting on top, but underneath it is some cheap Rural King brand potting soil with some cocoa coir and earthworm castings mixed in it. And eventually I intend to mix it all together. However, right now it's kind of really full and hard too, so I'm just going to work with what I got. Plus I'm kind of just testing out the Fox Farm alone. A little bit too much in there. Put it in here. Use a little bit more soil. I think that pot that it came in was more like a 4.5, 5-inch pot, and it was in the pot that, because I remember this, I bought this at a plant bundle online on Amazon. It was like one of my first plant haul videos ever, and it was still in that nursery pot. Oops, I didn't mean to grab from there, although that's not going to hurt anything. I've got a cottage cheese container in there for scooping, so I'll just use that. Ooh, this plant could use recentered. I didn't do a good job doing that. It's kind of off to one side. There we go. I believe I cleaned the Amy's leaves last time I watered it, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it again. One Dieffenbachia I really want is a camouflage. There's also some newer varieties out there that are really beautiful too that I'm looking into. I like Dieffenbachia. I think it's pretty easy to grow once you figure out how to water it, and it'll work with you. It'll tell you. And it grows back. Aglaonema as well is underrated. I really want an Aglaonema Pictum tricolor. Alright, I'm getting her watered in. Philodendron Birkin, aka a red Congo philodendron that has mutated. I have 2 mother plants in here. One of them is reverted back into the Congo Rojo, which is still a beautiful plant. Look at those burgundy stems and the petioles, and then the leaves get really big and gorgeous. I had one last year and I killed it. Yeah. So I was overwatering that guy. So I'm going to go with the pretty chunky mix on this guy. Not quite Hoya chunky. But yeah. But it looks like since I've been picking through, I got quite a bit of big chunks. You know, it's looking chunkier than I want for this. So I'm just going to add more Fox Farm to it. I have taken a few cuttings off of this mother plant. The little pups that, you know, basically just pop off of it. It looks like there's a few more, but yeah, I think I'm going to wait to take more cuttings off of it. So one plant still is variegated. The new leaves coming in. I don't know if it's going to pick up on camera or not. Let me see if I can see them. They're coming in with the variegations. And then eventually they'll mature into this. And I might split this plant up so I can have a Congo Rojo and then a Birkin, 2 separate plants. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. See, this is one I had Leca at the bottom of, and it did wonderful. See, I learned quite a bit about the plants that I've killed and all that in between time, and the ones that are coming back, like the Amy and some of the others that are still hanging out with me. See how hard it's going to be to separate this plant, and then I'll decide. Maybe I'll do it next year, or, you know, just all depends on how it looks and how I feel comfortable doing it. Yes, it's actually pretty easy to get apart. Look at this. Yes. Now I have a Congo Rojo and a Birkin. 2 for the price of 1. All right, so what size of pot do I want to put these in? That was a 6-inch pot. I could probably get away with shoving them in a 4-inch pot, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to see if I got something 5-inch. All right, so I came up with these 5-inch terracotta pots, and my battery's running low, so this is going to be my last repotting. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more Fox Farm in here. I picked out some of the smaller Leca balls and chucked them in there, in the soil mix, I mean. Let's see how this looks after 1 scoop. Yes, I like it. Okay, we're going to go with this. Here's a big one I'm going to swap out for a little one. I know I'm being meticulous. All right. Guys, if there's any video ideas you got for me to do in the future, just let me know down in the comments. I'm just trying to come up with different ideas. I don't know what people like and what they don't. I have a hard time commenting on other people's videos on my phone, which I'm about to get a new phone anyway because it keeps saying that there's moisture detection when I'm charging my phone, and I end up having to chuck it on the wireless charger. Wasn't always an option, so hopefully that gets fixed before long. But yeah, if you got a video idea for me, just let me know down in the comments. Or any advice or any of your experience, let me know too. Maybe it's helpful for somebody else to read. I'm going to say these are 6-inch terracotta pots. They're not 5-inch. And that's perfectly fine. I'm making this soil chunkier than it was in. Plus it was in plastic pot. Now it's in terracotta, which is going to help the, yeah, moisture, you know, how fast it dries out as well. Right, probably could use a little bit more. Oh gosh, did I break that leaf? The big beautiful leaf? Oh, I did. Maybe if I don't break it off all the way, it'll be okay. We'll find out. I'll call that good, how deep it is. All right, after the Birkin, my phone's getting really dark and doing some stuff, so I do need to stop filming and chuck it on the charger. It's telling me, stop, Mackenzie, stop. I'm like, just one more plant, please. All right, guys, I'm going to get Birkin here watered in. And thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. I love you, and so does Jesus. God bless.